We have contact. There, we'll get rid of the glare. There we go. Can everybody see me okay? Awesome. Okay. Picking up this tempo. We're going to start marching your feet wide apart. I'm going to have you shift your weight and punch across. Now, I'm going to keep this warm up the same throughout the month. That way you guys can get used to it. All the movements. Good. Another set. And up. Got that rotation, that overhead press in there one more time. Little mini squat there in the middle. Good. Now bring it up. 1, 2, 3, and tap. Take it back. I got a weird angle here because of my phone, so bring it up. One more time. Good. Nice and slow, we're going to set that lunge. So you're going to turn to the side with the feet wide apart. You're going to slowly lunge down, knee over ankle, and come up. Good. Forward and back. Other side. Set. Slowly down. And slowly up. Good. Now we're going to take that up tempo. Forward and back. Here we go. Good. To your left. Set. And down and up. Forward and back. To your right. Set. And down and up. So you spread those feet wide apart, and that helps to ensure that lovely knee angle. The back knee can come close to the ground. It doesn't have to touch. Set. And one more set. Up and back. I should have said one more set to each side. And set and lunge. Now forward and back. Good. Hold it here. Hamstring curl. Good. Forward and back out of chest press. Kicks and butt. And again, chest press, overhead press. Kicks and butt. And again. And up. And forward and up. Lovely, lovely. We got one more, guys. And we're getting right into it. Good. First movement pattern, functional movement pattern is your squat. Turning to the side. Calves should be warmed up nice and pliable. We're going to sit into that squat. You want to sit the butt back behind the axis of the body, but don't let the front part of you come too far forward, okay? We're going to go down for 2 and up for 2. Down for 2 and up for 2. Good. So sit that butt back. Keep your gaze forward. That'll help you from pitching too far forward or flexing too far forward with the trunk. That'll really use your abs, pulling them in and up. We're halfway there. Glance down occasionally. Make sure the knees are tracking right over the middle of the foot, right over the shoelaces. Okay, keep going. Got 5 more. Good. Belly button stays pulled in tight. 2 more. Good. Good. So metabolic workout alternates lower body and upper body, and we're going to do that tonight. We're going to start with your chest press. If you've got your bench, great. If you don't have a bench, no sweat. Just lay on your mat on the floor. I'm going to grab my bench. I prefer the bench because I can have an elevated surface, and that way I can bring my elbows just below the level of the bench, getting sufficient stretch through the pecs and a better range of motion through the shoulder joint. All right, grab your heaviest weights. Sit on your bench and keep your weights right on your body as you lie down or on the floor, as the case may be. Elbows out to the side, wrists right over those elbows, nice and strong through the forearm, working in nipple line. There's number 1. Number 2, you want to get a little bit of a stretch through the chest, but nothing excessive. aggressive. Everybody has their own individual range of motion, their own injury history, so on and so forth. We want to respect that. So listen to your body by tuning in. And of course, airing to what the message is that it's sending you. Keep going. Almost halfway there. Right now. Nice strong push. Right over the chest. These are going to morph into something a lot more strenuous over the course of the next couple of weeks. But we can always warm up with this beautiful chest press. I think we have 2 more. Great. Keep your weights close to your body and come on up. Place them aside. All right. The next movement that we're going to do is the hip hinge, switching back to lower body dominated. Hip hinge is just that. Imagine the only joint that you have is right here at the hip. You're going to hinge at that hip. As you do, the butt's trajectory is that way, the head trajectory is that way. Imagine somebody pulling you in too. Good. Now soften your knees, push your bum back, reach your arms forward. Good. Pull in your belly button and bring it up. Good. Now take your arms behind your head. This becomes a good morning. Here we go. Second your gut. Good. Just brace your chin. You can hook your thumb right onto your jawline. Elbows are back. Knees are soft. Abs are in and up. Good. Keep going. Good. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see you. Beautiful. Looking good. Yep. Send that booty back. Like you're trying to stick it out there. Yep. Just be sure to keep your toes down. Knees soft. Good. Abs are nice and strong. Keep hugging them in like you're trying to zip up a pair of pants and they're way too tight. Either that or you've got a bikini on. Suck it up. That makes everybody really pull in. Good. Toes stay down. Let's do 3 more. And 2 more. That pulling in movement, you guys, that drawing in maneuver as we call it, is actually activation of a very deep intrinsic muscle called the transverse abdominis. Okay, grab your bands. We're going to have a seat on the bench. The next movement in the functional repertoire is pulling. Grab a heavy band, the heaviest gauge you got. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this movement is a bit controversial because of the safety of it. But here's how we get around that. You're going to sit on your bench. You're going to wrap your band around the arch of your foot. Crisscross it. That crisscross is your insurance that keeps that thing from coming up off your feet and whipping you in the face or in the throat. We don't want that, right? Okay. Hug it up tight. Sit up tall. Now you're going to pull, like you're rowing against the strongest current you ever came across. Come on. You heard the man. Come on, pull. Are you ready for this? Good. That's it. Keep going. Woo. Great. Halfway there. Yeah. Use your arms. I try to minimize the amount of hip flexion by keeping my head in one place. Yeah, now you got to pull with your back and your arms. Pulling with your upper back and arms. Feel it underneath your armpits. Right where that beautiful muscle fans into your back. Get a few more. Let's say 2 more. And let's call this good. Okay. All right. Get your bench out of the way. Get your stuff out of the way. Grab your stability ball if you have it. If you don't have your stability ball, don't worry. You can do this without it. This next exercise incorporates the lunge with rotation. If you have your stability ball, grab your ball, reach it up overhead. Awesome. Feet are apart. Now, widen your feet, turn your toes slightly out, like you're gonna do a sumo squat. Good. Now lunge over to the side, touch your ball down. Good. Pick it up. Lunge over to the side, touch your ball down. Pick it up. Now, I want you to minimize the rotation of the trunk so that you can maximize the degree of flexion at the legs and the degree of the stretch. If you do this right, you're gonna feel this tomorrow in your adductor muscles. Those are your horse riding muscles. They're used for everything though. You even use them when you run. Anybody who's ever started a running program who's been sore in the adductors can attest to that. Good, keep going. Lunge side to side, mobility, rotation, and of course, dynamic leg strength. Good, pushing your weight up and over. Good, keep going. I have no idea what number we're on, but I know it feels good. Does it feel good? Yeah! Yeah! Good, keep going. You're doing great, you're doing great. I think Hailey may be taking a nap. We have no idea. Lunging and reaching, lunging and reaching. Let's do 2 more and call it good. And number 2. Awesome. Great job. All right. The next movement pattern is anti-rotation. Grab your mat. We are planking. So, just like we need to be able to rotate, we need to be able to stabilize. Here's where we teach our stabilizers their job. Consider this OJT for the stabilizing muscles all the way from your jaw all the way down your ankles. So here we go. We're going to start with a low forearm plank. So I'm going to have you come on your knees, come on your hands. All right, so the hands are right under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. Now, bring your elbows and forearms down to the mat, and your elbows are just slightly ahead of your shoulders. Now, I want you to pull your shoulder blades slightly down and pull your belly button up, activating that transverse abdominis. Here we go. Stretch one leg out. Stretch the other leg out. Hold it. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. No bow in the back. No butt up in the air. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come up on your hands. Come up on your hands. Good. Back down to your knees. Push back into down dog. Get that stretch. Good. I want you to practice your plank. 20-second holds. 1 full minute coming up into high plank. Back down into low plank, 20 seconds. We're going to be building upon that next week. All right, next on the docket, I'm going to have you grab your mid weights. We're going to be doing a rotational overhead press. First one side, and then the other side. Rotational overhead press. So grab your mid weight. We're going to work one side and then the other. Welcome on, Tam. Here we go. I'm going to have you clean the weight to the clavicle. We're going to leave it here. We're going to be rotating off the foot. foot. See how I did that? That's going to prevent me from rotating here at the lumbar spine. So no torque on the spine. Here we go. Press up and over like the Statue of Liberty. Up and over. Good, keep going. Number 3. Number 4. Third of the way there. So the knees stay soft. You stay really light, almost weightless on that pivoting foot. You look good. Elbow nice and straight. Reach it up overhead. Here we go. Good. See how I get that little bend in the knee? And then I can push a little bit using my legs. Gives me a little bit of extra push there. A little extra power. That's got to be 15. I roof raked today. So with 3 extensions on the roof rake. So I'm feeling that one for sure. All right, so we're switching to the other side. Here we go. Rotational press, pivoting off the back foot. Good. Good. Let me see ya. Let me see ya. Elbow nice and straight. Beautiful, yeah. Reach all throughout the body. Feel it from your feet. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, you look good. You look good, you look good, you look good. That's it. Anybody counting? Who's counting? Let's say 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Beautiful job. All right, guys, we're going to put down our weights. We've completed every single functional move. I'm going to show you some stretches now that will help to ease out all that tension that you created now in those stronger muscles. All right? First of all, though, we need some mood music for this, right? So we're going to slow this down. And you may have noticed that the music is quite different, and that's because we have to use specific music for recording, guys, so that we don't break any copyright laws. So that's why the music's a bit different for these classes, okay? All right, so everybody, please grab your mats. Let's start to stretch. Stretching is so important. It's important throughout our lifespan, but particularly as we get older and we lose elastin and collagen, and our joint structures and our connective tissue, our muscles, our tendons, they become less mobile. They become less fluid. Stretching helps us to maintain not only length in the muscle belly, but it helps keep the fascia lubricated so that it glides better, okay? Our fascia doesn't stretch. Our tendons do and our muscles do, and of course, because they're so full of elastin. All right, so I literally had you up on your toes, and because tight calves can limit your dorsiflexion, okay? Dorsiflexion is simply the angle here between the top of your foot and your shin. You should be able to dorsiflex deeply and keep your heel down, just like I just did. Calf stretching, both the outer calf, straight back leg, for approximately 30 seconds. And then bent back leg. See that? Keep the back heel down. This forces that dorsiflexion, something that we lose as we age. And lack of dorsiflexion is associated with a greater risk of falls. Lack of dorsiflexion can be caused by tight calf muscles. Limited dorsiflexion will totally mess up your squat. Here's why. If you can't settle back down into that situation here, you don't have the flexibility, it's going to force you forward. In order to compensate for the butt going back, you're going to have to lean your trunk forward. which is going to be hard on your back. So in order to keep that trunk up, you need to be able to dorsiflex. Okay? So there's one reason to stretch, just one reason to stretch after activity. Now, there's some theory that, dynamic stretching is as good as your static stretching, but I am of the opinion, based upon my own experience, that stretching is super good for not only rehabilitating injury, but preventing it, okay? For all the reasons that I said. So dynamic stretching, like what we did prior to class, is great for warming up. But if we want changes in the structure of the muscle and the tendinous units, then we need to do static stretching. Those will cause these plastic changes in the muscle. Great. So from here, let's switch to upper body. First of all, anterior shoulder. So I'm going to hook my hands behind me. I'm going to roll my shoulders back. All right, so you take out those creases in your shoulders right there. You want to iron them right out of your shirt. Awesome, good. Chin back for me a little bit, and please make sure you're not arching your back. Soften your knees, tuck your bum under a little bit, and just brace the abs. Awesome. Anterior shoulder. Great. Let's get a little deeper now into those pecs. My favorite pec stretch utilizes the wall. We don't have a wall here right now, so we're going to use our head. We're going to place our hands behind our head. I'm going to place my hands firmly behind my head, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some isometric tension. I'm going to actively push my head back. I'm going to actively push my hands forward, and I'm going to actively pull my elbows back. And you want to breathe. Good. Butterfly stretch. Very, very, very active stretch. You can have somebody assist you in this stretch, but you want to be able to trust them. You want to be able to trust your, whoever's doing this. And word of caution, when you do this stretch, you're going to want to elevate the shoulder girdle. All right, so I'm going to have you just depress it a little bit and then pull those elbows back. That way we're not like tensing up that upper trapezius and probably exacerbating an overly tight muscle anyway, especially since you've been on the spot here for the last half hour. All right. Our facilitators in our pushing movements are the triceps, right back here. We stretch them by simply flexing, extending the shoulder, and flexing the elbow. And you're going to try to point your elbow straight up toward the ceiling. One thing I've noticed in my older adult classes is that there are all sorts of compensatory mechanisms that happen when they try to do this stretch. I've seen the forward head like this because they can't pull their arm up because the back of their shoulder's too tight, or I've seen the forward elbow like this because they can't get their hand behind their head or down toward their scapula because their shoulders just lack that range of motion. They're just way too tight. That's caused by our forward moving and forward working, eating, driving culture. Yeah. Okay, other side. So another way that our daily postural habits and our cultural habits are impeding, if you will, our movements, our ability to function, our ability of our joints to function through their full range of motion. How just common postures like slumping can just affect the entire kinetic chain. All right, so now from here, we're going to focus on the lower body, particularly the back, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the quadriceps. I'm going to prioritize the quadriceps tonight, but from the lunging and the squats, okay? So I'm going to have you lay face first on the floor. This is my favorite way to stretch the quads, and here's why. One of your quad muscles, the rectus femoris, the great big giant one, kind of in the middle of the quadriceps muscle, crosses both the hip and the knee joint. If you can't keep your hips down, that tells you that guy is tight. That guy attaches directly to the patella via the patella tendon, and it will definitely cause you knee pain, particularly when you're going downstairs, if that guy is too tight. So here's how we keep our rectus femoris honest. We push our hips down, we get the feedback of the mat and the floor. Then you draw your heel toward your buttocks, while you simultaneously keep pushing or flattening, if you will, that hip bone down so that it's nice and flat to the floor. Now let me tell you, if your hip flexors are tight, this is going to be nigh to impossible for you to do, but you can work on it. Even if your foot is 6 inches away from your butt, you can lay down and just pull your knee up, extending at that hip. You will feel distinct stretch through that quadricep as well as the other 3. All right, we're going to switch to the other side. So again, feedback of the floor here, so I can tell I'm not arching my back. My hip bone is in a neutral position. It's a little bit safer that way. And I can think about lengthening that thigh as I flatten the hip bone to the floor. If you can do this correctly, you will feel amazing quality in that quadricep stretch. You'll feel a quality difference. All right, I'm going to have you flip over now. We're going to flip over onto our back sides. We're going to start with a knee hug stretch. The biggest compensatory mechanism I see here is folks arching their neck. Right? We have a lot of desk jobs. We do a lot of forward head stuff, and consequently our head gets kind of stuck in a forward head posture. It kind of forces our neck out of alignment. And so what happens is we lay down like this, and suddenly our chin's up in the air and our neck is hyperextended because we've got such a forward or rounded upper back posture that we have to compensate. We can't keep the head in a neutral position. So what you can do is simply, again, roll up the end of your mat, make a bolster out of it, and suddenly, bang, you've got a little pillow for your head so that you can relax. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my hamstrings so you can go ahead and relax that neck. You can also use a sneaker. You can use a yoga block or just simply a pillow. Great. So here we want an extended knee because, again, those hamstrings cross both the knee and the hip joint. So if you can extend that knee, great. Now if you can't get it straight, if it stays bent, just know that means your hamstrings are tight. And you can just work on that. That would be a great performance goal, to be able to get that knee a little bit straighter. Tight hamstrings can actually cause back pain, just so you know that. And with 80% of our population suffering from low back pain, we really want to try to keep our hamstrings nice and flexible, and the knee joint and hip joint stable but also mobile. I'm going to switch over to the other side. You can relax your foot, or if you flex your foot, particularly dorsiflex your foot or pull your toes toward your shin, you will feel an increase in the intensity of the stretch. And that's because we're also stretching the calf muscle when we dorsiflex the foot. The calf muscle, the outer calf muscle, crosses that knee joint, so it will intensify the stretch. Again, pick your poison, listen to your body, do what feels right. Okay, ankle across the knee. Just kind of flip that knee out a little bit. You're going to have the whole unit in, reaching underneath your knee so there's no pressure on your kneecap. You can use your elbow or your forearm to gently press into that inner thigh, thereby opening up that hip joint. Just enjoy that beautiful glute stretch. This is a beautiful deep glute stretch. Now you can also rotate your hips slightly toward that lower leg side. And you're going to feel a deepening as we require greater flexibility or stretch of those glute fibers as we externally rotate. Go ahead and we'll switch to the other side. Hugging underneath the leg now. We're going to draw that thigh in toward your chest and toward your torso. I'm going to lean away from mine a little bit just so that I can really feel that hamstring glute connection. Getting all those fibers that kind of run diagonally up there on stretch. Keep hugging.
and creating that cross tension by pressing into the inner thigh while you hug that lower leg in. And again, hugging underneath the knee puts less pressure on your kneecap, and you know, that's always a good thing, right? So we did as promised, run over a little bit.